Welcome to Heat Check. We're going to look at the top 10 highest selling vintage denim items over the last 2 weeks on eBay. This video is sponsored by WeBuyOldJeans.com. Coming in at number 10, we have the first Levi's denim jacket. I'm not really sure that's true. I believe there may have been an earlier prototype or an earlier jacket or a blouse as they would have called it. But here we have the Type 1. It is a bit roughed up. There is clearly some wear, but it's generally fairly aesthetic. We have lost the tab, it looks like, which is kind of a bummer, but the buckle back is still intact. So overall, looks pretty good. Nothing super, to write home about, but it's a nice one. And after one bid, this one sold for $1,300. Then next up, we have a pair of Levi's 505s, Big E with selvage. These are a pretty rare pair. You don't find these very often. We haven't seen them on the list in quite some time. One of them barely missed the list, I think, last week. But this one looks like it's in great condition. There's that selvage. It's hard enough to find a Big E 505. It's even harder to find a Big E 505 with selvage. So this one is exceptional. It looks great. 35 by 33, which is a great size. Exceptional 505 here. Definitely deserves to be high on this list. This one sold for $1,350. Then we have a pair of 501s like we do. This one appears to be dead stock or new without tags. Let's take a look. Definitely looks like it has not been washed, in my opinion. We have a size 38 by 33. There is the staple from where the flasher hung. This one looks great. It looks beautiful. We have seen these quite often. You can see here. This one here is from 1978. It was good to see these not being a 1980s pair. But still beautiful, exceptional piece here. 10 bids later, this one sold for $1,375. Then we have another 501. Hopefully we won't have to do too many more 501s on this list because we see them all the time, so nothing particularly interesting about them. This one looks great. I think, let's see, is that a 6? Yeah, it's probably a 6. Maybe, yeah. Great looking pair of red lines. Here we have the stamped pocket. This would have indicated, you can see right here, this indicates that this was from 1973. The stamp pockets ran from late 71 to at least into 1974, where we still see some use of the stamp. So that gives us a pretty good date, in fact, an actual date. But notice here, this is actually a little bit more interesting. This is a Big E. The common understanding is that Big E means it was pre-1971. Well, that is not entirely true. You have to understand that big companies like this take time to transition different standards and details, and so they most likely just used up all the rest of the tabs, the Big E tabs that they had left over. So you can find Big E's. In fact, I found them as late as like 1978, and I think one time 1980. That's just how long it took to deplete the Levi's Big E tabs. Though generally it is true, you're gonna find them definitely before 71, but it's not that unusual to find them after. Regardless of the Big E status, this one is sold for $1,589. So if you think you have a pair of jeans that might end up on this list, we recommend you check out WeBuyOldJeans.com. These guys are the best in the business. They can give you appraisals, they can help you with research, or they can make an offer on your jeans. They offer reasonable prices and great customer service. So we highly recommend our friends over at WeBuyOldJeans.com. All right, one more pair of Levi's. We have this 501 Big E Redline. It says 1960s. Let's take a look at beautiful blue colors, guys. Oh my goodness. The colors just pop. Unfortunately, no patch on this one. There's that Big E. We do have a V-stitch here, but we don't have any hidden rivets. So yeah, we're looking at probably late 60s on this one, most likely. Still a beautiful pair of jeans. These just sell. These are what people want to wear. They're exceptional in their color. The size is pretty good. 34 by 32 is a great size. So no surprise that these sold for a lot of money. In fact, these sold for $75.50. Right now we have another Type 1. This one did a bit better, and you can tell why. This one is definitely in better condition, cleaner all the way around. It looks like it does have its red tab. It looks like there may be a little bit of where we see that. Yeah, some like paint splatters, but just barely. So not bad. Still a beautiful jacket. It looks like they missing a button down here at the bottom, which is kind of a bummer. But you can probably find a period correct button to replace that. Generally in good condition. Let's take a look. It's a size 36, so again on the small side, which is common for these things relative to modern sizing. But a pretty good listing too. 24 bids later, this one sold for $1,900. That is a pretty significant range between conditions here. Then here's one you don't see every day. We have some early 1900s Carhartt denim overalls. I'm no super Carhartt expert, particularly when it comes to early 1900s Carhartt, but this is definitely showing the signs that I would suspect to be on something this old. I believe these were found in a mine. This is also from our guy Jahar 69, who has a bunch of these for sale. We are a little unsure exactly if they are rightfully his or not, but either way, they are being sold, and there's not been any resistance to it. So, still an incredible piece. We do not see these. You just don't see this. This is just really, really cool. Love this button. Carhartt's over. Does that say overalls and gloves? Yeah, really cool. Rusty, obviously been used. Is that it has a buckle back on the back. That's cool. Definitely, we don't see overalls on this list very much, so that is really cool to see that we have some overalls making this list. These sold for a cool $2,000. Then we have at number 3 some of my favorite things to make the list. We have some 1950s university Lee jackets. These were often created and custom painted by students at these colleges, and this one here is from Princeton University. These are just so cool because they are period arts. Obviously has some wear and some defects from time. This is not even like the coolest one I've ever seen. And look here, we have the long E and Lee, or the long L, excuse me. I guess technically the long E. The long L here in the Lee button. We've seen some of these that have made this list that have way more customization and painting. So this one's on the sort of chill side, relatively speaking, to some of the stuff we've seen in the past. So, but either way, it's super cool. Love finding these pieces. These are often one of a kind. So these are real collector's items here. This one sold for $2,000. All right, the only Type 2 here on this list, and it is at number 2. Beautiful 507XX with lots of good color. It does have some wear, but and maybe some like paint marks or bleach marks or something like that. Overall, though, in great condition. Size 40, which is a pretty good size. You don't see very often. There's that big E. 507XX without the jerky tag, so we're definitely looking on the later side of the 50s, maybe even early 60s on this one. Absolutely beautiful. There is a that's interesting. You do not see this very often. This is the composition tag, which I believe was required after 1960, so that might place this one actually in the early 60s. You did not have to have this comp tag attached permanently to the garment. It just had to be at the time of purchase. So a lot of times you don't find composition tags permanently attached to a garment because they weren't required. But this one seems to have survived on the back side of the interior Jackeron patch. So that is actually a pretty cool little detail about this jacket. So I'm not sure if that puts it on this early 60s side, but that would be my guess. So this one's really cool. And it also sold for a cool $2,000. Then at number 1, we have this 1940s Burlington overall chin strap denim workwear chore coats. Chin straps are all the rage. These are like just really popular elements. Most likely, I think, just because it really is it basically died out after World War II. You just didn't see people using it very often. You sometimes find some chin straps in other types of clothing in the 50s, but in terms of workwear, it sort of was abandoned after about that time. So any of this stuff here is definitely well-to-do and goes for a lot. I've actually found a pair of Burlington overall, like almost dead stock jeans from the 50s one time, and I had never seen Burlington before. So it's pretty cool to see Burlington making the number 1 list here with this denim chin strap short coat. It's not in perfect condition, but these generally never are, obviously. 17 bids later, this one sold for $2,284 for the number 1 spot. Super cool to see Burlington, not one of the big 3, on the number 1 spot on the heat check.